over the top. For you here who don't know what that is, it's a game I've launched. It was a massive failure, of course, as every indie game. And I would like to a little bit talk about it. Let's see. So, let's see. A little bit background about me and my team. I'm in the game industry now for 15 years. I've worked on many different things, but there's only these two are not NDAs, so I can talk about them. So we started back in 2012 as an expansion for a known game at the time. It was Mount and Blade, and this was just a DLC expansion, and it did really well. I was a student at the time. I was studying robotics. I still don't program robotics. I actually miss it, but it did too well. So I guess I'm a game developer, I said. Well, my team is 4 people at the time, still now. We only exchanged one of them. The others are with me for 15 years now. We decided what's next. We just faffed about on the Mount & Blade, and then we did different things. We worked on different projects independently. I did a lot of consulting, because my specialty is multiplayer game development. So I did a lot of consulting for various companies. How do you build a multiplayer game, the tech behind it? That was my specialty. But we got back together as a team and said, let's make a game again. And we spent 6 years and we made Battlecry Freedom. It's like an American Civil War shooter, and it was always something I would like to make. Historic, tactical, massive multiplayer. There was like 500 people in one server. What I didn't do there was make a successful game. I made something I would like to play and not what people actually like to buy. I mean, it looks a lot like 150,000 copies, but most of them were for 90% discount. And around this time, our money ran out, which, I mean, in like 13 years, I think it's logical your money at some point runs out. So we needed to do something new. So what we did is we pivoted with our company and decided to take our engine that we built and make over the top. Now, if you didn't see this game yet, it's literally as the name suggests. It is massive multiplayer mayhem. Everything can blow up, everything in the level can be destroyed, and there's tanks, there's airplanes, there's absolutely everything you would like to do to kill each other. I'll quickly play the trailer for people that haven't seen it yet, if it works. Ooh. There's no sound. Well, doesn't matter. So what you see here, it's a third-person shooter. Players are able to choose classes, choose their weapons, and they can just play, destroy everything they want to. We scaled down the engine, so this is only 200 players in one server, just to keep it manageable and more fun. And actually what you already see in this trailer, which I'm gonna get to later, is you have to make something that looks good and markets well in this market. And give the players that look at your trailer the feeling like, okay, this is something fun, that's what I would like to do. And this trailer is, I think, like a minute, but there's a lot of things happening. There's scene changes, scene changes, scene changes. It's basically what I'll get into a bit later. But anyway, now you know what the game is if you didn't know already. Where is my mouse? Oh God. So anyway, I'm gonna talk a bit about how that went. So I'm gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So basically, the good. I think what we did well was the game design and the playtesting and the marketing. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what was bad about this game, or the development of it, which I think on the top is really nice. Publishers, they're really nice people. You should definitely work with publishers. And really, indie game development is very known for this problem, is the planning, timelines, and how to actually make that shit. And I'll talk a little bit about the ugly, which is something I am in, which is multiplayer games and what people expect from them. So let's start positive, guys. I decided, let's make a game that is actually fitting to this market. So like last time what I did, I made a game that I would love to play and I love to make. But maybe people don't really like those games. So we pivoted. We decided to make something that would actually sell. So we looked around, we see what other games were doing, and how can we twist that. So you look at, in our case, a bit of Fortnite, a little bit of Hold Fast, a little bit of these very fun games. And that was the main conclusion we had as a team. Like, stop all this historic reenactment, historic weapons, historic stats, historic things. Let's make something that's just fun. So yes, the tanks in my game drive like 10 times as fast as in real life, and there are hundreds of tanks, whilst in the First World War there was maybe one in the German side, and the British at some point at 100. So yeah, I think this is my main idea I had, like, let's make a game that is fitting to the market and that is fun. And then I put there, really important, realistic goals. We're just 4 dudes sitting in an attic working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. There's only so much you can do. So what we could do is take this engine we've built and just use all the things we've already done and just build on top of it. Don't try to rewrite everything. Don't try to reinvent everything. Just have realistic goals. What can you achieve? We started by just taking our Civil War shooter, putting rifles that fire fast. Okay, that works. Let's put some simple vehicles in it now. They broke, they didn't work. Okay, we kept iterating till they were somehow usable. Next, don't make them perfect. Fuck, let's go, next thing. And we kept iterating like this, just adding the features you want to make the game. Don't put your goals like, we want to have this perfect, polished animation experience. It's not going to happen as a small team. You need to really do the 80-20. Like, you get 80% of the work done in 20% of the time, and you forget about the rest. You're an indie game. So what made the game design also good is our focus still on team play. So you have very distinct classes and roles. So you can be an engineer building something in the back. You can be an officer calling in airstrikes. You can be just a guy throwing grenades, or being really close combat in the trenches with a submachine gun. This created the ability for players to choose between very calm gameplay, like you're just done being blowing up. That's fine. You go back in the line. You build a nice construction, you dig some trench, you put the spawn point down, and you're just getting points for doing something for the team. And you don't have this constant pressure to perform in the game. So that creates a very diverse ability for players. Next, what I really found important is team play with VoIP. So in our game, you can talk to anybody constantly. Hundreds of players can just communicate, enemies, friends, doesn't matter. And it creates a lot of meme content. And that is another aspect of how you make something sell well. Special aspects that we did that other games don't is, of course, the digging. So you can create the whole scene as you want to, you can destroy everything you want to, or you can build anything you want to. And of course, the chaos and explosions, it is a very crazy game, but because of this, you can go back, construct something, you also create calmness in the game. And another thing we did really well is playtesting. I can tell everybody in this room, if you make any fucking game, even like a small prototype with black boxes, fucking play that shit. Give it to your cousin, give it to your friends, play it, play it, play it, play it. Figure out if it's fun. If your demo thing that you built in a month is not fun yet, do you really want to spend another 3 months making it better? And playtesting, not just with your friends. What we did is create a system within Steam. You have it, a playtest system. So what you do, you get some visibility to your Steam page, get people to get there, and maybe wish this game, but also sign up for the playtest. And then when you have something to test, for instance, a new build, you invite maybe 100 email addresses or 200 people you invite to your playtest. They get a notification, new playtest live. They'll join in, and you get direct feedback right there and then. And this is the validation, because what we did, every month, only one weekend you can play our playtest. You create a fear of missing out effect. Like, oh no, I have to play this weekend. I have to play now because Monday it's gonna be gone again. And that really helped for us in a multiplayer game where you need players, right? And what we also did a lot is what I call data-driven game development. So I want to know exactly every player that starts my game, installs my game, what they are doing when. And then you can use that to make conclusions. It could be so stupid as that you're starting the game, you notice a player starts the tutorial, end of tutorial, quits the game because they think, oh, the game is done. Because you didn't make a good ending of your tutorial that said like, good job, soldier, now you have to go and fight the enemy, and it just pushes you immediately to multiplayer. Such a simple change could mean your demo getting quit immediately or people continuing to play. So you really want to track everything you can. What I was doing is I was tracking FPS, player hardware, player location. I was tracking all their shots, which weapons they preferred, which classes they preferred, which upgrades they preferred. I was tracking what kind of kills they were getting and hits and on what kind of ranges. You can also analyze like, wow, why is a machine gun getting kills on 500 meters? That's a problem. But don't get blind by numbers, because I can get very blind by numbers. In the end, in the game balance, fields matter a lot. We have, for instance, in our game, even to this day, that the German side always wins. Why? Because people don't want to play for France. People don't want to play for British unless they're British, right? So the people that are good at the game, they always go, I want to play Germany. And what you get, Germany is always winning. And they're just ruffle stomping the enemy. And what are you going to do? I mean, the stats were the same. They had the same health. And one rifle from the Germans did the same damage as the rifle from the British. What are you going to do? You actually have to make the game unbalanced. Right now, the French have 10% more health, and their damage on the weapons is 20% higher, and still they're losing 60% of the time. So don't get blinded by numbers, but don't forget, data-driven development is success. You're looking at your median playtime of your demo, you're looking at the median playtime of your playtest. Why are people quitting? You could, for instance, have a round time that is lasting half an hour, and for most people, after half an hour, it's done. So they just one round, they quit. You could also change your round time to be 20 minutes, and then they feel like, I gotta do another round, you know? And then you actually get 40 minutes out of them. And after they play 2 rounds, they're like, maybe a third. And such a small changes can actually create a feedback loop that people keep playing. And another really important thing with playtesting and demos is the community. You have to be active. You have to be there on Discord. Listen to those people. Even if they're affid assholes and idiots, you just say, interesting, yeah. Oh. You have to remember that every playtester in your game have their own idea of what your game should be. So you need to ignore 95% of their feedback. I mean, bugs are interesting, but don't get lost in bugs. Every game is buggy, every game is janky, and you can get lost just spending 2 months fixing random bugs that this one dude had on his laptop because he was using an AMD graphics card with an Intel CPU. Fuck that shit. Bugs, every game is bug. I mean, AAA studios launch with horrible products, and they get away with it. Why shouldn't you? You're like 2 dudes in an attic. Oh. Hey. So yeah, another aspect of the community, not just the Steam forums or Discord, is surveys. So what I really like to do is have a good survey. What I mean with that is the first fucking question is, did you have fun? Just yes fucking no. When they already do that, they're like, well, I give feedback. And you need to make every question in your survey optional. They can just fill 2 things, be like, fuck it, I'm gonna quit, and just walk away, but you have that fucking data. And another thing I really like to do is give people this kind of graph. I don't know if it's very readable, but what I ask people, how do you rate these aspects of the game? It's just a sizable thing, and I will just say like, how do you like the graphics? How do you like the sound environment? How do you like the UI or the UX? And people can just say like, it was complete dog shit till, man, this shit is perfect. Just give them 5 things. And you can really aggregate that. So in this case, in this shitty example, you see that my game, nobody thought was very good graphically. Like nobody. Like from the 200 responses said, you know, it's an indie game. But most people were like, yeah, it's fine, it's neutral, it's good. And there were some people saying it's poor, very poor. But another interesting information you see here, that game performance, you see a lot of people say like, it's all over the place. So you have maybe some issue with hardware. And again, with the data, you can see like, well, if people have a 1060, 3 gigabyte, the game runs like ass. And then you think like, maybe I have to optimize the memory usage of the VRAM. You can use the data for that. But these kind of graphs really give you a feedback of where you should focus your polish on. So for instance, in the beginning of our surveys, the UX is horrendous. People just said like, fuck this game, I don't understand where the features are, how do I use it? So you iterate on the things that people find the most problematic. But once again, don't get lost in this information, because people that fill in your survey are already 1% of your players that play your demo. Maybe 5 if you're lucky. It's a certain subset of people that give feedback. And another aspect I think we did in the end pretty decently is marketing. What do I mean with that? I'm the person here in the hub that always says to everybody, please spend 50% of your money and or your time on marketing. You have to. You have to. So some aspects you can really take up is catchiness. Your shit needs to look good. You can have okay gameplay, but if it looks good, people will click on it. You can help it, of course. Make your trailers catchy. The first 3 seconds of a trailer is the magical moment. Some kid is sitting on his cell phone scrolling to whatever the fuck on TikTok, and then he sees something crazy happening. In our game, maybe somebody's pissing on a body, maybe something is blowing up, maybe somebody's burning. You're like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit? Then you have them. They're gonna keep watching, maybe they're gonna keep engaging with your content. Keep them engaged. Don't make your trailer 2 minutes. Nobody's gonna watch that shit. You have to make it 30 seconds, 20 seconds, short form content. Not only, I mean, you can make a gameplay trailer, you put it on IGN, there's many aspects of it, but for the basic content, you want to catch that audience in the first 3 seconds, and maybe then, after they catch them, you can show some gameplay, you can maybe calm it down, but you have to catch them. You are competing with 80 fucking games on this market every fucking day releasing on Steam. You have to be noticed. And let's not forget, I think Andri said this really well recently, that the most important thing is a good Steam page. Because every piece of marketing, every moment you spend, those eyeballs are going to end up on your fucking Steam page. You want them to convert from eyeballs into wish lists or sales. How you do that is make a fucking Guile Steam page. So you need good key art, because you need to be noticed. If your game is being suggested on Steam between all the other games in the same genre, as example, your key art is the only thing they see. Just that fucking logo is the most important thing they will see. Then they will hover their mouse over that bitch. Then they see your trailer. Extracts of your first trailer. The first trailer you put on Steam is the extracts. That's what they see. Then they click, hopefully. Then they come to your Steam page. You need to have good screenshots. You need to have your Steam page translated in all the languages. And I mean all the languages that Steam offers you, you translate that bitch. Because Chinese players, Japanese players, they're not even gonna read your shit if it's English. They're gonna be like, fuck it. Next. You need to create an optimization strategy where you convert those openings of your Steam page into actions, either a wish list or a sale. My page was optimized, obviously, and it converted in 10% of the people that opened that thing did something with the page, either wish list or buy the game at launch. This is so important. And another aspect, I showed a little bit here in the bottom right. You can also use things you got into. In our case, we got into Tiny Teams. This is a Steam event. You can use those things to also market your game. What I mean with that, my game is a very massive multiplayer game, but it's made by 4 dudes on an attic. If you're in Tiny Teams and you can put that motherfucker there, people that open this page are like, oh yeah, it's an indie game. So they're already lowering their expectations. What do I want to say? Oh yeah, so outreach is really important. So you need to tell people about your shit. You need to get eyeballs on your stuff. You have to email all of these influencers. You have to answer their emails. You have to send them keys. You need to have a good press kit. Those influencers, you have to imagine, there's like on the internet hundreds of thousands of influencers that are playing games. They're getting every day 20, 30 emails from random idiots like you that want to get their game played. You have to be noticed. You have to target the influencers that are in your sphere. That means if you, I don't know, make a cozy game, you find all the influencers that make cozy game videos, you email them, you annoy them, and hopefully they'll play your game. From the 100 emails you send, maybe one of them will play your game. Another thing, what I call shadow marketing. I was talking to some of you about it in the hub. So find small subreddits, and maybe you can do something with it. A good example for me is we had a tank subreddit. You put a video in there of a tank just driving through a trench. And then you write a message under it, is the speed of the tank correct, question mark? And just wait till the nerds start to argue about it. Free content. Then there's always some random motherfucker is like, what game is this? And then with another account, you write, oh, I found the link here. Another shadow marketing, which you should really do, is Discord. So find games in your sphere that people already play. There's already a market, there's already a community. You go to that motherfucker, find the off-topic section or other game section. You dump a GIF in there and say, look, what is the game I found? Suggestions. And about short-form content, it's fucking random. You can make the best video and you get 1,000 views on TikTok or YouTube Shorts. And you can make a really garbage thing, accidentally upload it, and it will do 1 million views. Don't ask me how. You just keep at it. Just keep putting videos up there. And it's not about you have to do it every day or every week twice. Just put things up there and one day or another it will pop off. And I also put here a little thing about marketing. What I mean with that is my sales are predominantly United States, 50% exactly. I made a game that does really well with United States people because they like to be on the mic, they like to troll each other and shoot each other and make bullshit, so it just sold there. And I translated my game to Chinese and I tried everything, but the refund rate in China is 60% because nobody likes unserious war games. Now I want to talk about the bad. I'll not make this too bad. I mean, in the end, publishers are a very interesting bunch, but what you really want is those Swiss francs. So what you have to do, you have to pitch. You have to sell yourself and the game. And look, if you don't believe in this project yourself, if you're standing in front of the mirror and you cannot convince yourself that this is a fucking awesome game, it's gonna make a shit ton of money and you're gonna be fucking awesome with it, you're not gonna convince them. They're getting 20 emails every week of a random indie developer saying like, well, I got a special game for you. How do you catch their attention? You have to sell yourself. And in the end, publishers are all about the money and they're all about the numbers. They want to see that you already did something. You can't just make a really cool game with an amazing trailer and just send it to a publisher and say, I need money. They're going to be like, okay, how much wishlists are in Steam pages? Did you do Next Fest yet? They want to see where you're at. If you have nothing to show for it number-wise, why would they sign you? That's too risky investment. They're having like 100 indie games they could sign tomorrow. And I did write it. So in the end, publishers, it is a predatory business practice, but it's understandable. They're betting, let's say, on 20 games this year, and they know of those 20, only 4 will make their investment back, maybe, of which 2 or 1 will actually make them money. So they have to cover the cost of all the other games. So they have to take a big cut. Nowadays, I see quite standardly, a publisher will take 50% of your sales and 100% of the recoup. Or maybe if you're lucky, 70% during the recoup and after 50. Maybe at some point you can go 70-30 if you're lucky. But this is just how it is now. And remember, pitching publishers takes a fucking amount of time. It took me 6 months. You're just talking to so many, and there's contracts on the table, and the contracts are completely predatory, and you're like, fuck, I guess I'm talking to the next one now. It is draining. You need somebody that basically does this full time during that period of pitching. And another aspect of publishers is you can sign. I had this signed. Like, I have free control. I have total control of the game. I can do whatever I want with it, direction-wise, and I hold the IP. I made the best contract I could. But you know what happens? You're like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in, and then you have a playtest, and in the playtest, some users are writing that, I don't know, the sound design is bad, or there was a bug with tanks. The publisher freaks the fuck out and is like, you have to work on tanks. Oh my god, we cannot release this game like this. You're just taking this train and you're going off a cliff right now, and we have to do something about it. And you can be like bitchy and say, like, nah, in the contract it says I can do what the fuck I want. In the end, they will pull the card, we're paying for it. And sure, you can have milestones and agreements in place, but in the end, you're gonna have to play ball. So they will take decisions, they will be directive. Some publishers are worse than others, but they will fucking put their fingers in your shit. And the worst is they don't even play the game. They don't even know your market. They're like just afraid to lose money. And another aspect which is really annoying for indie teams is project management. Those motherfuckers from a publisher, they want to see what you're doing, right? So they're going to be like, nah, we're going to make milestones, and this milestone, you're going to have that map, and so many weapons, and this and that. And you have to itemize your plan for the next 2 months. But you as an indie developer just make things. You make things because they're good, and you can pivot. Because you're a small team, you're like, well, this machine gun is super unbalanced. Let's just change it. Let's only put it on a tank, and then it's fine. You make decision like that because you actually feel like the game and you make shit. They're gonna be like, oh no, it's not in a milestone. No, in a and it ends up in meetings and meetings and more meetings. And did you know you have to have meetings with publishers? And another conclusion I want to put on here is that you would say a publisher has contacts in the industry, knows to get you in the media or something like that, but mostly you have to do all of the actual work. You have to make those trailers, you have to make those screenshots, you have to make the Steam page. They might help you with translation, but you might as well do it yourself or find another agency. And the marketing outreach, you need to have another agency anyway that does outreach marketing. Okay. Yeah, where was I with this topic? So in the end, my advice to you is this: sign a publisher if you need money. And if you don't need money, then work with outreach agencies, spend your own money on marketing. Remember, 50% of your budget should go to marketing. But if you don't need the money, spend it yourself on just direct marketing. And pay your salaries, of course. Another thing that was hard was planning and timelines. Planning is hard. I think everybody in this hub that makes games is like, yeah, you know, this feature is going to be like a month. Then 2 months later, did you finish it? Things always take longer. And what I always tell people here is when they are like crunching on some feature or something, is always the question, does this thing that you're working on right now convert into more sales or will make this game sell better or be more interesting to see? For instance, I had a topic with somebody in Hub yesterday that they said like, okay, we're adding this new boss. And I'm like, why? Your game have like 1,000 wishes. How is this boss gonna make it better? And they were like, look, we watched a YouTuber and he came to the boss and he used that as his thumbnail because it looks really cool. I was like, okay. So add quickly another boss, make him see the boss way faster, make more screenshots of that, put it in your trailer, then it's marketable. But you have to think like this. Don't add features or things and spend a month on something that's not going to convert into fucking sales. Will your salary for a month be covered by this work you're doing now? If the answer is no, don't fucking do it. And another thing when you have a publisher is the timeline shifting. So if you now need another 2 months to make the game, it means you need to pay 2 months more salaries. It means you need to argue with your publisher if they're going to pay you for 2 months more. So this is a struggle. And another thing, what I like to put here, in my case, like my whole team is remote. I'm here and there's dudes in Ukraine and US and Germany. Working remotely, I have a very good tip for you. Leave the guys just to do their shit. Don't have daily fucking meetings. Don't have stand-up meetings. For the love of God, no fucking stand-up meetings. Just let them work. Do the thing that they're good at. And if there's shit that they're not good at, let them tell you and you take care of it. I have a team that is completely just working on stuff. And we're meeting, sure, twice a week. We're playing the game together. And we're sitting in TeamSpeak. I mean, I'm that old, I'm sorry. And we're playing the game. And sure, we're talking about some stuff. And if we're bored, we just go. And if we're hungry, we go make food. It is completely open. It's not a meeting. And otherwise, we just have a group chat. And we're talking to each other. And this is actually better. Because some people are very loud in meetings. They put all their opinions on everything. But in chat, everybody is equal. They have ideas, you discuss, you say yay, nay, done. Very quick. Just chat. And remember, when you're making planning and timelines, you need funds for the future. Let's say this game failed. Could have happened. I need money to pay myself and my people for another time to make something new or find a new investment or a new publisher. Plan for that shit. What I did to my publisher, said to them, look, my people are cheap, but not that cheap. I need like 5K a month for the salaries of my people. I paid out to everybody 3K. That means every month I had 2K on the bank waiting for the case that the game failed. At the end of the development project, I had 1 year left of salaries because everybody was poor. Welcome to indie game development. I want to also talk about a bit about the ugly shit. Multiplayer games. Don't do it ever. Fucking don't make multiplayer games. No. First of all, the tech is hard. And I'm an expert at this shit. Like, desyncs, like, oh, I shot him, I'm sure. How did he kill me? He's a cheater. Matchmaking, server hosting. You know how expensive servers are? I do. Questions later. Another aspect in multiplayer games people are really bitchy about is player count. I've had people, even when I had 1,000 people currently playing, saying like, what is this kind of dead game? There's only 1,000 people playing. Because people expect something differently. And especially if you sell like, well, we have 200 player servers. As soon as you're getting under the 200 players, it means your game is dead. So we have a lot of comments of people like that. And another aspect of multiplayer games, you need players to have fun. Of course, I have bots in my game, and they are decent, but it's not the same as a player. Another aspect of multiplayer games is cheating. Everybody that wants to will cheat on your game, no matter what you do. And I made the tech in such a way that the only cheats you can have is like an aimbot or a wall hack, but still, they will cheat. And anti-cheat is really expensive. I'm on the NDA right now, so I cannot tell you. But I didn't take the deal because it was insane. But they will basically take a large percentage of your sales if you want easy anti-cheat or something like that. And another ugly, it's also going into the same thing, is the player expectations. So it is a very hard place to be as a multiplayer shooter especially. The standards are very high. You're being compared to the big guys, the AAA studios. And they're all the time saying like, wow, I played this game and then I had like really bad FPS. I think I have a small screenshot of this guy there. I don't know if it's readable. He says like, it's still horrible on my RTX 4080. I checked the statistics because I'm checking every fucking thing. The dude had 96 FPS average median. But I mean, it's a shooter, so it'd have to be 400 FPS, right? And this is really hard to reach if you're just an indie game developer working on it with 4 people, massive destructive environment, in Unity engine, good fucking luck. But you're compared to the big guys. And another thing with multiplayer shooters, they expect polish. They expect a very polished experience. They're not forgiving of the graphics or the gameplay jank. They really exploit the over-the-powered weapons or classes. So before you know it, there's always the same person with, I don't know, a special sniper rifle on the top of the leaderboard that you have to nerf again. Then you piss him off. Then he writes a bad review. It is a really hard market. So don't make multiplayer games as an indie. And another aspect what we're really struggling with is it's a live service game. People expect updates quickly, constantly. Like we are releasing since release, I think 22 hot fixes and then 2 bigger updates. And I had a review yesterday from a guy that says like, yeah, the game doesn't have enough updates, you know. Some people like hot fixes because you actually care about the game. Some people think like, oh, it's such a janky mess. Look at them, keep fixing it. We'll never fix it. And I said this today in my team I didn't have a meeting. I just said in the chat like, you know how it is with my code? It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Because you always break something. So conclusions, I guess. I think you need the trifecta. You need a good fucking game. It always starts with a good game. You need to make something that people want to fucking buy and play. Then you need good marketing, because if you make the best fucking game in the world, there's 80 games releasing every day on Steam. If nobody heard about it, nobody's seen it, how do they know it's a good game? You need good marketing. And number 3, what I think we had a lot, is luck. In the end, the big streamers played it, big YouTubers picked it up, everybody heard about it, and I shipped 250,000 copies in 3 months. That's just luck. And another conclusion, indie development is hard. I've done this for 15 fucking years. There's the financial burden, there is, you're investing years of your fucking life into a project that might not make any money. And you have to remember, what you love to make as an indie might not be the thing that people actually want to buy. So remember to know your market. Who is your audience? And how do you reach those people? How do you make them see your shit? And importantly, don't give up, man. Because there is chances here in this market to make good money and a good living. We had successes in the beginning, we failed in the middle, and we came out of top in the end. You can be too. So yeah, just questions. You want to do a microphone or? Thank you, Maxim. Yes, we have time for questions. Is it? Carry on. Yeah, you can just yell. Okay, so you say
So, if multiplayer games are so bad, like, what would you say about cooperative games? Because you could potentially like just host them without dedicated servers, and you have 4 players now cheating to worry about potentially.
Like, of course, you would say that's a smaller scope, which is really true. And maybe you don't need to host dedicated servers, but you still need to host relay servers. You can use public relays like Steam or Epic Games, but then you're hooked to their system. But remember, making a multiplayer game is not just the big servers. It's also syncing the game state, making a game that feels good multiplayer-wise. It's not just easy still. It's still hard. And you still need matchmaking, or you need friends for your Friends Club game. Matchmaking is a whole other can of worms. Just if you make one, and there is a chance for you, there's many Friends Club games releasing right now, but there's again many, so you have to be noticed. But there is libraries you can use to make it easier to develop multiplayer games, but you have to do it from the start. You can never convert a single player game to multiplayer without rewriting it from scratch. I mean, you're willing to, if you're willing to try, I think there is a market and there's money. Just be ready to spend a lot of time on multiplayer aspects of your game.
Uh, if I'm not mistaken, the slide said that you sent 10,000 emails, right?
Yeah, the agency did actually.
Oh, okay, the agency. Okay, okay.
But it's usually you make a list. You have like 300,000 YouTubers or Twitch streamers. Then you make a subset that may be interested in your shit. Then you send them a lot of emails. And then you have to answer those emails. So you can imagine 10, 20,000 emails. Then you're asking for engagement, because how email systems work is if you don't get answers to your spam, which it is at this point, you'll be blacklisted by a lot of servers. So the system is in such a way that you want influencers to answer you back and say like, yeah, well, I'm interested, I want a key or whatever. Then you send a key to them. It's a lot of work. You have to imagine now you're sending 500 replies, maybe personalized replies. Especially if it's like in different languages. Let's say you target a German audience, you have to make it in German to the influencer and so on. So this is what we had an agency for, because it's just a shit ton of work that you as a game developer probably don't have time for. But then you need a budget for it, right?
So would you send those emails manually, or would you use some service if you had to send them yourself?
If I had to do it myself, I would probably find a service to do it. Then again, personalized things work way better. Especially some marketing agencies perhaps have contacts of certain influencers. They're like, hey, it's me again. I have this other game. I know you're super interested in that market. But it's a shit ton of work, right? But in the end, you need to write them. If you don't have the budget, then my friend, you have a very busy Saturday, Sunday, and probably the rest of the week. Because you need to write all those emails if you want people to buy your fucking game, or at least see it. There's no choice here. The only way you're going to market this game is if you spend the time and money to do it.
Can you share the response rate that you had?
Sorry?
The response rate from the outreach?
It's hard to say. I think it's like 2% maybe answers. Something like this. Maybe 5. Yeah, it can be anything. But it's like a shotgun. You just keep shooting and maybe you hit something. And maybe it's a micro streamer with 5 viewers, but it's still content online. Right?
Sorry, a question. You didn't mention paid influencer with the campaign, so it was just a giveaway of Steam keys, or some influencers had like paid promotion for your games?
So usually paid influencers don't pay off unless you're really big budget. I have a good example about this. In my last game, I had a YouTuber that was having, I think, 200,000 or 300,000 subscribers. Average views on videos he made was like 50,000. It was really good, right? He made one video about our game, and it did really well. He had like 200,000 views on that video. It was really successful for his channel. And then I made a bigger update. I wrote him directly and said like, oh, I saw you made this video. It was so successful. Would you like to do something exclusive with us with this new patch that's coming up? And he was like, $20,000, please. And you have to remember the conversion rate here. So even this 200,000 views video converted maybe 1% in sales, or even 0.5% of those views was a sale. And if you calculated it out, I don't earn $20,000 on that video, not at all. So that would make no sense. A lot of paid influencers don't convert. It only makes sense if you want to make a big boom. So I know, for instance, my publisher recently did something on the Summer Game Fest again. They spent a lot of money on that. They get all the influencers, they pay them, they play that shit, they promote it, they market it. Then you get a big wave because, you know, you go everywhere with that money. But you need a big fucking budget for that shit. So I wouldn't spend too much money on paid influencing, personally. I also did it recently again. I spent, I think, 10K on a push on various short-form content platforms. And the money ran out quick, and I think we had 2 million views total on all influencers combined. But the wave of that was, yeah. Maybe I've earned back 10K on it, maybe.
Thank you.
So you kept saying that you're just four fucking dudes in an attic. And I was just want to ask, like, before you came here, did you work in an attic?
Yes.
Yes, really?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. That's all. That's my question.
Actually, we're now finally moving out, like the rest of my team.
Okay.
Like my American now finally have enough money to rent an apartment. He's still bitching about it.
Yeah, I have two questions. The first one is, what are your next plans? Like, do you plan to continue live servicing the game, maybe having a next push to get the player count up again, or next project? Or
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you've seen it on the slides earlier that the player count goes down real fast. We were on 7,000 concurrent, and now we're like at 400 in the weekend. It's normal that the core community always stays and the rest just plays a new game and goes on again. Our team is basically now focused on stabilization and polish of the game. We're doing content updates, let's say every month, and in between just smaller updates. Right now we are finalizing a deal with Steam to have basically a free weekend with marketing and front page coverage on Steam, which is probably dropping in August. So our team is now very focused on getting the best build out there for that, and also adding a whole new nation to play. And then we're also going to spend a lot of marketing on that push. So we're going to do an influencer outreach again. We're going to make special trailers, short form content. We're going to see it for us a bit as a mini relaunch to get the player numbers up again. And then after that, my team is basically probably still working on this till the end of the year, maybe beginning next year, for sure, just to keep at it, because it's still converting into sales right now even. I think after that, we'll see. For sure, we're going to do our first DLC as well during the free weekend. So we're going to do cosmetics DLCs. I think that works the best for a multiplayer shooter where you don't want to pay to win.
that's really cool. And do you have some words maybe on retention? Like, do you have some insights on what helped you with retaining players?
Once again, data-driven development. So you watch out for why people quit, but it's really hard to say at some point. We're listening to feedback. We're trying to add more gratification to the game. So you hit something, you get a nice pew, or you get better unlocks, better UI, better ranking systems. Those are the things we're focused on for retention as well. And in the end, it's a really hard thing. Multiplayer retention is what everybody struggles with. It doesn't matter if you're Bungie or us.
And it sounds like as an indie dev, you kind of have like insurmountable odds. Like, how can you like motivate yourself through the months and years to just keep going, even if it seems like it's a mountain that you cannot climb? Like,
yeah, what I say about that is that you're right, and it is a big mountain, and I think it's higher than the Jungfraujoch, but it is a mountain also anybody can climb if they keep at it. You're gonna fall down a few times and you're gonna climb up again. And also in my case, right, we're just gonna keep at it. Because I think many games have a long tail, especially these kind of games that could give a new rise, like another free weekend, another Steam page, front promotion, another push. And that will convert in sales again, and then you can keep going. So this is what we're currently focused on.
You mentioned your relationship with the publisher. Do you think this is everywhere in the industry, like
Yes.
in other countries? And
Yes.
do you think there would be a better way of doing things?
Yes. So in 2012, I signed a deal with Paradox. Anybody in this room, don't ever sign a deal with Paradox. Please, don't, please. They took 2 years to pay us. I had to make a court case in fucking their city of their shit country to get my money and get them out of the contract. They will take your IP in any case if you sign with them. That means that they can just release a new City Skylines under a different game developer if they want to, which they did. It is basically the worst. Anyway, enough about Paradox. Publishers have a point, have a place in this world. You just need to find a good one. Like I think Hooded Horse is known, Goblins. There are good publishers out there, but there's a lot of I don't know. In the Netherlands we have a saying: "There's kaf tussen het koren." That means like between the grain, there's also all the trash that you have to throw away to make bread. So that's how I would say it. Just make sure that you know who you're signing with. Talk to the developers that worked with that publisher. Send them an email. Say like, hey, I'm about to sign this deal with these motherfuckers. How are they? You'll learn a lot.
When you look at your current game, your previous games as well, do you see a strong correlation between median time played and success of your game?
Oh yeah, definitely. Median time played is the #1 thing that tells you if your shit that you're building is actually going to be fun and being played. But it's not the only thing. You can have 100 players on your demo and you have a great median playtime. It means that you just found random 100 idiots that really love your very, very niche shit. So it's not the only thing, of course.
Were you ever in the situation where you really had to get like short-term funding to survive at all?
Oh yeah. So I remember this when I signed the publisher. I had 5,000 euros to my name, personal and company. It was like we were launching this game basically in an alpha state on Steam Early Access, or we're signing the deal with the publisher. There was nothing else in between. I knew, I mean, in the end, of course, I have a nice position in life because I could always maybe ask some friends or some family for some money, which I never done in my life, but I'm sure they would give me at least till I get the money from Steam for the release. That was my plan originally, till I signed. But yeah, I mean, if you're broke, you got to do something.
Yeah, I basically had a Kickstarter, but it only hit 6,800 of the 20,000 I required to make my game. So like, there's only 4 days left on it, so I don't think I'll get the 12,000 that are required, and so I'll need to look for another option, I guess.
Pocket the money and work in the weekends.
So, how expensive are servers?
It depends. So I wrote my own network library in a way to be very performant. So I could host on a dedicated server box about 1,000 to 1,500 players. One box is costing you, depending on the region, anywhere between 150 and 250 euros a month. So if my game is very successful in player count, it means that I need a lot of servers, so I can easily pay a few thousands a month just for server hosting. And then you can scale it back. And what I'd also do is cloud scaling. Cloud is basically selling hardware for 10 times the price, but it is temporary. So you can, for instance, have a few dedicated servers that you're just always hosting. And when your game pops off on Sunday, you just put a few cloud servers up for, 100 euros a day. But then you only have it for Sunday. But money.
Or a second question, will you not do multiplayer games again?
I'm in too deep, man. I'm an addict. All right, I think you can just talk with me later and have a beer. I think that's better. Thank you for listening, guys.